What's up, you guys? It's Ben from Baseball Concepts. Today we're going to be talking about pitching for the stretch. Okay, so we've done a previous video talking about pitching for the windup from our entry-level guys, and now that we're getting into the stretch, it tells me that we're getting a little bit older because we're having to worry about runners on base. So with that comes 3 important tips that I got for you guys on how to keep the same success that we had out of our windup and transfer that into the stretch. So very similar to our video about the windup, our step 1 is going to be finding a common place that we're starting off the rubber, okay? Just because we're from the stretch doesn't mean that we're starting to move back and forth across the rubber. And a lot of times, actually, I like to think, where did we start in the stretch, okay? Because we're in the windup. Because when we are in the windup, okay, we're gonna have our step, we're gonna have our pivot, and that pivot is gonna tell me exactly where we're gonna be wanting to start our stretch from, okay? Our stretch is really gonna want to mirror what our windup is looking like so that we can get into that comfortable starting position that we're familiar with already. Okay, so now that we've got our foot in place, mirroring where we're starting with our windup, we have to understand that coming out of the stretch, we've got to come set before we can do anything, okay? So most of the time, we're gonna look like this. We're gonna go be ball in hand. We might be ball in glove, but we're always going to have to come set, meaning we're bringing our hands and our glove together, okay? Now, when we come set, we are locked in from here, okay? We can't have this movement. We can't have head twitches. We can't have any of this stuff. We can't get false starts and start over. Instead, when we're coming set, what that is indicating is that our next motion is always going to be pitching the ball, okay? That we're always going to be coming forward unless we are stepping off of the mound, disengaging everything. We could start over from there. But it is important for us to remember that once we are bringing these hands and glove together, we are set, okay? So now let's talk. Once we've come set, we also have to remember this. In our head, every time we're coming set, we're going 1/1000 in our head. We've got to at least come set for 1 whole second before we are allowed to pitch the ball to home to this batter, okay? And the reason being for that is because if we're coming set and we're pitching right away, we're gonna get called a balk on us, okay? No different than if we're coming here, we're trying to go too quick because we're worried about the runner. It doesn't matter whatever the situation is, we've gotta, every single time, we've gotta be 1/1000. One good thing that I like to do every single time, I just did it right there. Every time you're coming set, if you take a deep inhale, deep exhale, guarantee it's gonna be 1 second every single time. You never have to worry about that count again, okay? Okay, so now that we've got a place to start on the rubber and we're understanding why we're coming set and that we're having to come set, like I said, for at least 1 second, okay? The last part in it is to not be confused about pitching out of the stretch as far as changing our mechanics go, okay? So hopefully at this point, a lot of us throwing out of the windup, okay, we have a pretty simple motion that we're strutting towards home plate, okay? Now, out of the stretch, a lot of us feel like everything has changed already when really nothing really has, okay? We don't need to abandon anything that we've been doing before. Everything sort of remains the same. And what I mean by that is out of this position, we could still say very simple, okay? We can still keep our hands close to our body. We can still come up with our leg, giving us a good load point that we could drive through with our pitches, okay? But a lot of guys end up out of this position really trying to rush and not giving our hands enough time to separate, getting us into a good throwing position. Everything is just too out front already. We're leading a lot with our head out here. That is just too much, okay? It's something that's really common in a lot of guys that are just starting out, pitching out of the stretch, okay? So what we could really do to help that is to always think, once we've come here and we've come set, is to give ourselves time, be slow through our stretch, okay? Once we're here, we have no need to rush. The entire pace of play is down to what we're going to do, okay? Don't let the pressure of any runner on base or anything that's going on at the plate make you feel like you have to speed up and deliver that pitch, okay? Everything as far as timing is concerned is on us as pitchers. So we can come set, we have all the time in the world to get to that balance point here so that as our legs coming back down, we have that time to separate right? So that we have the time to separate and that we can get our body into that correct throwing position out of the stretch, rather than letting something speed ourselves up, feeling like we have to rush, and all of a sudden we're rushing and we're all the way here instead of getting ourselves into a good positive throwing position. That allows us to get our body behind it as well, okay? Because a lot of times if we're way out in front, we're just putting all this unnecessary stress onto our shoulder, onto our elbow, everywhere that we don't want, because we're not allowing our body to get through behind it. So to review that, we can also have a slide step in there if we wanted to, okay? And that'll be something we'll discuss on another video, especially we'll get into holding runners on and the timing of everything for that. But for right now, all I want you to focus on, whether we've got our leg kick out of the stretch or if we do have a slide step, is that we're not rushing forward to try and pitch that ball. Instead, we're still giving ourselves time, even if we're slide stepping, to load correctly and correctly distribute our weight through our body. So, in conclusion, out of the stretch, okay? Our feet, common placement every single time. We've got to find that starting position. Like I said, if we're pitching out of the windup, wherever we're pivoting that foot to, let's use that as our indicator as to where to start, okay? Second thing, gotta come set. One whole second, we've got to be still while we're coming set, okay? Hands and glove together, we've got to be still, okay? We don't get this extra movement out of here. So, we've got our foot, we're coming set, and finally, we're allowing ourselves to load to get our hands into the correct throwing position, right? We're not coming set, trying to be too quick to the plate, leaking everything out here, leading with our head, leading with our front shoulder down. We don't want any of that. Instead, we want to give ourselves plenty of time, whether it's a slide step or whether we're coming all the way up with our leg in order to get that strong, powerful stride out of our back leg. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Click through to our next one. We've got a whole bunch of good stuff. We're gonna keep coming out with a whole bunch of these things. As we progress, we're gonna get into more and more advanced stuff. As for right now, we've got a whole bunch of intermediate stuff that's coming out for young guys and our young coaches that have a bunch of young guys that they're trying to teach. Hey, hope you like this video. You can click and subscribe to our channel. You could also click the link below. We've got baseball-concepts.com. You can come check us out on our website. Have a great day.